Listen up. I've done Python, C, assembly for Hacker. Every single time someone shows up in the comments asking when Rust is happening. Fine, today's the day. And honestly, this one's overdue because for security work specifically, Rust does something the other three never quite manage. It makes an entire category of bugs impossible to compile in the first place. Quick reality check before we get into it. C and C++ are fast, powerful, and responsible for a genuinely embarrassing percentage of every serious vulnerability ever discovered. Buffer overflows, use after free, null pointer chaos, the entire memory corruption category, that exploit developers build careers around exists because C trusts you completely, and you, statistically speaking, are not trustworthy. Rust's whole pitch is same raw performance, same low-level control, except the compiler physically refuses to let memory corruption bugs exist. Not harder to write. Impossible. Somehow they actually pulled it off. Before we begin, if you're actually trying to learn hacking the right way and not just collecting tabs you'll never read, go ahead and subscribe and hit the bell so you don't miss the next one. I'm not going to pretend the algorithm doesn't need that, it does. All right, back to it. Everyone's first week with Rust goes the same way. You write C-style code out of habit, the borrow checker rejects it, you get confused, you get mad. Some people quit right here. Here's the mindset shift that fixes it. Stop treating the borrow checker like an obstacle and start treating it like a very blunt coworker who's always right. Every rejection is the compiler catching something real about memory that C would have silently let you screw up. Once that clicks, the anger turns into something closer to respect. Here's the plot twist most beginner tutorials skip entirely. Rust's whole identity is memory safety. Except there's a keyword called unsafe that turns that protection off on purpose. And if you're doing security work, you will end up inside an unsafe block eventually. Raw sockets, FFI into a C library, direct pointer work for exploit tooling. The irony writes itself. You spend 3 weeks learning to trust the compiler completely, and the interesting security work starts exactly where that trust ends. Learn unsafe deliberately. Don't stumble into it by accident. Once the fundamentals feel normal, cargo fuzz is where this gets genuinely fun. It's a fuzzing harness built specifically for Rust projects, and pointing it at your own code or at a C library through FFI bindings finds crashes faster than feels reasonable. This is the moment Rust stops being the safer language and becomes the tool you use to break everyone else's unsafe language. Write a tiny harness, feed it garbage, let the compiler's instrumentation show you exactly where things fall apart. Theory's done. Time to actually build things. Start with a port scanner. Rust's concurrency model lets you scan thousands of ports simultaneously with zero data races. Guaranteed by the compiler, not by you being careful. The speed difference versus a naive Python scanner is genuinely funny the first time you see it. After that, a basic packet parser using pnet for raw socket access. Manually pulling fields out of bytes teaches you more about protocol structure than any amount of documentation reading. Then a binary analysis tool with Goblin that reads ELF or PE headers and pulls out sections, symbols, imports. Once you've parsed a header yourself, binaries stop being black boxes. For the RE crowd specifically, iced-x86 gives you a real x86 or x64 disassembler to build tooling around instead of shelling out to object dump constantly. Rust bindings for Capstone let you script your own lightweight analysis workflows instead of waiting on someone else's plugin. The value here isn't that Rust makes RE easier, it's that building your own tool forces an understanding of the binary format that clicking through a GUI never gives you. Now, where to actually learn this? The Rust book at doc.rust. Dashlung.org is free, official, and better written than most paid courses. Actually read it? Don't skim it. The chapters on ownership, borrowing, and lifetimes feel confusing at first, and are also the entire foundation everything else builds on. Pair it with rustlings for terminal-based exercises so you're learning by doing, instead of just reading. For video content, no boilerplate on YouTube makes the borrow checker feel like a feature instead of a punishment. And John Jengset's streams are for when you want to watch someone build real things and think out loud while doing it. For the security-specific side, read through the source of tools like ripgrep or FD and study how experienced Rust developers actually structure real programs. If you want to go beyond free resources, a few books are worth actually owning. The Rust Programming Language by Steve and Carol Nichols is technically the print version of the official Rust book, but having it as an actual book forces you to sit with the ownership and borrowing chapters instead of skimming a web page. Programming Rust by Jim Blandy, Jason Orendorf, and Leonora Tyndall goes deeper into the systems level stuff, memory layout, concurrency, unsafe code, which matters a lot more once you're building actual security tooling instead of toy projects. And Rust for Rustaceans by John Jengset is the one you read after you're already comfortable. It's aimed at people who know the basics and want to understand why the language makes the decisions it does, which is exactly the mindset security work needs. First 2 weeks will be slower than any language you've learned before. The borrow checker is a genuinely new concept that doesn't exist anywhere else. Push through it. Week 3 is where it clicks, and the code you write after that point has a quality to it that C code almost never reaches. Not because you got smarter, but because the compiler forced precision the entire way. That's Rust for hackers. Between this, Python, C, and assembly, you've now got the actual toolkit real security work runs on. Not just the one everyone starts with as a beginner. The 2-week borrow checker rage phase is real, but the code you write on the other side of it has a quality to it that C almost never reaches. Not because you got smarter, but because the compiler forced precision the whole way through. Thanks for watching, and I will see you in the next one.